Gold Cup group stage is finally finished. We're entering the quarterfinals of it. And man, I'll tell you what, it has been an exciting Gold Cup. This has been one of the more entertaining ones I can think of in recent memory. Look, all my expectations have been met leading into, because I even said before in our prediction video, I'm like, I have a good feeling about this Gold Cup. This is going to be one of the most entertaining competitive ones we're going to see in a while. And it's been nothing short of that. And it's been awesome to watch. I know me as a Costa Rican fan has been extremely anxiety ridden and frustrating for my team, not seeing them necessarily play to the potential I know they can. And I know a lot of it's just due to them still trying to POHO, trying to figure out the system and whatnot. But yeah, in general, we're going to do a little bit of overview of the group stage, just real quick, just kind of briefly go over it. But then we're going to go dive right into our predictions. And we'll start it off with Group A. Well, I'm going to point it over to you first, man. What do you think of this Group A?
Yeah, dude. Fun group. Listen, I'll say this even coming from a Panamanian supporter. I think you kind of summed it up really well, Julian, breaking down the groups. All of these groups were fun, dude. It was exciting. It was all over the place, a couple upsets here and there. And yeah, I think overall the tournament was great. But yeah, like you said, kicking off with Group A. Speaking of upsets, listen, dude, I think the DR, they were brewing for one. They were getting ready. They were trying. They were pushing themselves there. I think this is the team for the future. I think this is a team that has a lot in store for them. They're going to honestly cause a lot of problems for the bigger boys of CONCACAF. We already kind of saw that here with two top 5 teams within Costa Rica and Mexico. So I think it's just going to get more and more interesting for this team. I think they're going to develop better. I think, honestly, they're going to continue going further and further. But yeah, I think for the DR, listen, we kind of said this previous. They were playing with house money, and I think that's what they did. They did it well. Now, in regards to Suriname, this is a team that was obviously, our Surinamese people, let us know down in the comments what you guys think of the tournament. But, dude, this was a team that kind of we went in there that we were, I don't want to say downing on, but just, kind of putting down a little bit in the sense of they haven't done anything big yet. And, a lot of their fans being quite vocal, already saying, they're the best team and they're about to be the best in CONCACAF and yada, yada. But Suriname, listen, for the type of team, I think you could say they got quite unlucky, but also in regards to the team in the group that they had to deal with was kind of settling. I think, listen, going into that Mexico game, it was always going to be a tough ask for these boys. But listen, dude, a name I really want to shout out is G. Kirk, man. Listen, the guy scored a goal against you, if I'm not wrong. Picked up an assist as well in that game against you guys. So, dude, listen, the man was an absolute beast all tournament. He showed his talent. He shows what he's done. He plays over in the Belgian Pro League with Royal Antwerp. Incredible season he had with them. Also, I think a quite solid campaign he had here with Suriname. Vossen, the goalkeeper, as well, looked solid. So, yeah, I think there's some stuff as well as similar to the DR they can build off for the future. Now, in regards to Mexico and Costa Rica, real quick, dude, and real quick, these are obviously just kind of bullet point, fast, quick notes, nothing too in depth. I think Costa Rica, young, hot team, man. This is kind of like, I'm going to be real with you, Julian. You guys are kind of like that new sexy chick on the block. You guys, obviously, you're seeming to catch everybody's eye right now. When in regards, you guys have kind of been building this project for quite some time now. Not years, but the past year and a half. Obviously, Piojo came in earlier this year. So I think people are starting to kind of realize names like Josimar Alcocer and obviously Orlando Gallo, and the Mora Bros. So I think there's obviously things to look forward to. It's not done. You guys do have a big quarterfinal game, which we're going to get to in a second. And we're going to break down this team more. But yeah, I think, listen, not the most perfect ideal group stage, but you got 7 points. You got second place. You competed with Mexico. At the end of the day, what else can you ask for? I think you guys did your job. Obviously, it wasn't pretty by no means, but hey, at the end of the day, this is also CONCACAF. It's never been pretty here. So, and in regards to Mexico, dude, good team. Obviously, he kind of expected it. All those people shouting out that they were going to get group. And realistic, listen, I would have loved to have seen it. I'm not against that. I would love to have seen them big boys get taken down. But yeah, we'll see. But what do you have to say for Group A?
Yeah, I think overall it was really entertaining. Suriname, I think my one takeaway from this Suriname, what I've seen from them is they tend to just play to the level of their opponent, is what I'm starting to notice. Because even leading into the tournament, I wasn't super impressed with their resume, and everybody was talking about them. because you know how people are the same way they kind of were with Jamaica is like, oh, we have European players, therefore,
Hmm.
just because you play in Europe doesn't necessarily mean anything, but they have impressed me a lot. And I think what their problem is, like I kind of just said, is that they kind of play to the level because we saw in the 0-0 draw against Dominican Republic, that game was lined up to be a shootout, but somehow it wasn't. But then they showed up against Mexico and they showed up against Costa Rica. And I think they did a real good job showcasing the talent that they have on that team. They just need to obviously work on some things and it'll take time for them to adjust and whatnot. The same, I would go pretty much ditto for Dominican Republic. It felt like it felt like we played the same team twice, honestly, from my perspective, like stylistically and everything. And you could tell even Piojo said that he wasn't necessarily ready for it. As for Mexico, I'm not super impressed with Mexico. I'm kind of down on Mexico right now. I think even against us, they have not really been able to create like a whole lot of big chances. They've been like a king of half chances and kind of kickstarting stuff, but not able to get that final pass. Um, so I'm curious to see how well they're going to break down Saudi Arabia. But and
Yeah.
then as for Costa Rica, it seems like like you said, I think it was good considering the circumstances. I think right now Piojo is trying to figure out what he wants to do with this team and how he wants to line them up, what players he's going to work with, the formation. Personally, I don't think the 5-3-2 is the way to go. It just seems like it doesn't work out for us personally. And I would like to see him make that adjustment like he did in the end of Mexico. So that could be foreshadowing for the USA game that we're going to talk about later.
Hmm.
But overall, like you said, I think people are starting to recognize us now. You're starting to hear more people bring up Ugalde's name, and I've been banging that drum for a while. Granted, he hasn't had a goal from run of play, but
Three pens.
I still
Mm.
think in general his game has been really good. He did have an assist, a beautiful assist at that. I thought he's had great games, honestly, outside of the Mexico one. But the first two, I thought he played really out of his mind, even though the score sheet may not say it from open play. But I think they're still trying to figure stuff out. I would have loved to see this team with Alfaro, like who had a system and idea what he wanted to do. But time will come. Hopefully, I'm still kind of whatever about Piojo. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm going to give him time. And, this is his first tournament. And honestly, I don't think we have much of a choice as time goes forward.
Yeah.
I'm starting to understand why people say you live and die by Piojo ball. But we go to Group B. I'll just be
Oh,
really quick with this one.
Julian, can I shout out
Canada,
one name real
but
quick? Group A. If you know, you know. El Puto Gato, man. Keylor Navas, incredible dude. Listen, I think he genuinely got you guys a point that last game. All for all the haters in the back, all the people that said he needs to retire, all the people that said that. The man, he's still El Puto Gato. If you know, you know, dude. He's incredible, man, and he can do good things.
yeah, that's definitely the most under talked about topic that's happening in CONCACAF is the goalkeeping situation in Costa Rica. It is, and I don't want to dive into it too deep, but
Mm-hmm.
like the debate between Sequeira or Navas. Look, I love Navas, and what he's done is great. I still don't necessarily want to say that I still think the job was stolen from Sequeira, but that's a topic for another day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good problem to have, nonetheless. But let's Group B. Canada looked shaky, man. I wasn't super impressed with Canada. Obviously, they tore up Honduras, but we're all starting to see Honduras is. I'm surprised they made it out of this group. This Curacao should have,
Yeah.
to be quite honestly, but they couldn't. El Salvador is a joke. They shouldn't even been in this tournament. They're horrible. I'm sorry to break it to you guys, and I'm going to go the same thing with Honduras. You guys turned it up towards the end.
Oh,
Surprisingly got out of the group,
they're not gonna like that.
but like my God, like come on, dude, 6-0 to Canada. I don't care if you're playing in Vancouver, bro. That stadium wasn't even that filled, and then you drew El Salvador.
Mm.
Like, come on,
No,
like I
they
mean,
beat El Salvador.
just not. No, who did they?
Honduras beat El
I thought El
Salvador.
Salvador got a draw.
They beat them 2-0.
Was there no draw? Maybe I'm mixing it up with another. I might be mixing it up with the Guatemala game,
Mm-hmm.
but nonetheless, um, I wasn't super impressed from what I think. Honduras did a great job at getting better and bouncing back
Mm-hmm.
from that Canada disaster class. I'm still not super high on them at the time being. I still have a lot of question marks for that team, but yeah. And then in terms of Curacao, man, they definitely played above their level. I did not expect them to compete as much as they did, especially in that Canada game. I'm going to straight up say it. I think that Canada game was taken from them. They should have put that game away. They were the
Mm.
better team, in my opinion. They should have won that game. But obviously, the soccer gods just were not on their side that game. It felt like
No.
anything that went wrong did, except for the one goal to get the draw. But yeah, that's kind of my. At the end of the day, Group B wasn't the most entertaining group. But yeah,
Ooh. I think if you're
any quick thoughts on that?
I think if you're a diehard CONCACAF fan, I think it's the opposite. I think this group was insane. El Salvador, 2 red cards, penalty saved. Mario Gonzalez stops J. David's penalty. Honduras get rattled 6-0.
Yeah, but it wasn't pretty, dog.
No, it wasn't pretty. But if you want to say beautiful in CONCACAF terms, absolutely, this was a freaking performance, man. This was awesome. This was peak CONCACAF ball right here, guys, ladies and gentlemen. I like, as Julian said, Group B, dude. Honduras kicked it off. Absolutely. Listen, you can write this team off, and I'll give it to them. Honduras came out of there, and they were able to get 2 wins. Obviously, not the most convincing fashion. Both of those games, interesting. Obviously, the Edric Menvidar goal was atrocious. That probably is going to be a ESPN not top 10 moment. That was pretty rough. Also, literally, I'm looking at my notes that I have for this, and Julian, I think you literally took the words out of my mouth. El Salvador, absolute booty cheeks, dude. This team is horrible. 0 self-control, 0 discipline, and 0 want in these guys. How do you go into that Curacao game and you obviously, I'll give it to him, had a pretty small first half, kind of dominated possession, had more shots, whatnot, and second half completely shut off. It literally, I remember one play in that moment, and I'll go real quick and we'll hop into Group C. El Salvador just had the ball at halfway and just kept playing back and playing back and playing back. And Curacao eventually was able to catch up to him. And I think Curacao, listen, dude, we're talking about Dominican Republic being very, very unfortunate. I will give it to this team. Curacao might have been the most unfortunate team at this Gold Cup, dude. The way that they played,
advanced. Quite honestly,
they should have had 2 wins. They should have had 7 points easily. Tie Honduras, beat Canada, and then beat El Salvador. Listen, I feel unfortunate for the boys. Obviously, at the end of the day, that was kind of their downfall. They were not clinical enough. They couldn't finish off the points. And as a Panamanian supporter, I know in the past, if you're not clinical, you're not going to win games. This is the type of stuff that's going to happen to you, especially in CONCACAF ball. Real quick in regards, like you said, Canada, obviously no Alfonso Davies, no Moises Bombito, Stefan Estaquia. I made an incorrect statement. He was at the Club World Cup. He's still with Porto, obviously, whatnot. But listen, I think this team still, that first game, dude, they looked like they were just going to absolutely roll through this group, steamroll it, keep it moving. Looked a little shaky. Obviously, like you said, they didn't look comfortable in that second game against Curacao. The third game was a little bit better, but also, to be fair, El Salvador were playing with 2 guys down. So that's not really the most impressive. It was like a Sunday league team at best. But yeah, for Canada, I think honestly, kind of like the US, Panama, and Mexico, they're really gearing towards this knockout phase. They kind of just have the eyes on the prize right now, and they're ready to keep steamrolling. Group C, though, Julian, if you don't mind, I'm gonna kick it off real quick, just kind of blow by the points that I've got on it for real fast, dude. I'll start off with the most fraudulent team in CONCACAF, the Jamaican Reggae Boys. Listen, dude, all our Jamaican fans out there.
Before you go on, I'm just going to say this.
Yeah.
I should have stuck with my hot take, because my hot take was that they were going to get grouped. That's what my hot take was. Yeah. But you know what? Like a couple of days before, I turned it around. I'm like, you know what? They didn't look too bad leading into it. They are coming in full strain. You know, Panama was missing some pieces. Maybe they get first in the group. Never happening again. You know what? They're not even making it to the World Cup. I'm gonna straight up call it now. They're not making the World Cup.
Wow. If y'all want to see a prediction video for that,
I don't want to hear any of you guys. I don't want to see any of you guys in the fucking comments. I don't want to hear it. I'm over it. I don't care what you guys have to say. I had you guys at first, and I'm done buying into the hype. I'm over it. I'm so done with it. Like I should have stuck with my hot take, because my hot take was Guatemala was going to get out of there, and they did.
If you're Jamaican, let us know down in the comments if your team's fraudulent or not. And easily, I can answer that question for you. You guys are. You guys are fraudulent. Dude, this team, listen, I'm going to hop on a soapbox real quick with you, Julian. This team, Leon Bailey, Ronaldo Cephas, obviously Damian Lowe, Andre Blake, and I love me some Andre Blake, man. The guy,
he was the best player.
Class.
He was the best player.
He's the best. They put this man through absolute hell. Dude, what are we doing? And dude, Ethan Pinsk, I mean, these guys, listen, and I'm not saying these names to be that, oh, they were incredible this tournament, this and that. No, I'm saying all those names, because these guys were absolutely horrendous this tournament. They were terrible. Dude, that Guatemala game, I watched the full 90 on that one, by the way, and obviously against Panama. Just absolute. And that Guatemala just, listen, the Jamaicans, they don't utilize their size. They don't utilize their speed. They don't utilize where they play, where they challenge each other. They push each other every single week in, week out. And it's like what, like you said, dude, listen, if I'm not a betting man, I'm not a stocks guy, I'm not into that type of stuff. But if you got the Jamaican stock right there, Jamaicans, let us know down below in the comments. I'm not buying the Jamaican anymore. I'm not buying the stock. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying no Bob Marley stock. I'm not buying into this, dude. What is this? Like you guys have to perform. I will not go as far as Julian and saying that you guys won't qualify for the World Cup. That's another day, another discussion. That's another video
Dude,
for another time.
who looked more impressive, bro? Curacao or Jamaica?
We'll see. We'll leave that for another video. Link down in the description. You guys make sure to subscribe to the channel. Check us out for more content. But dude, yeah, just not the best. Looked like kind of like El Salvador. Just looked like they had no fight in them. Honestly, moving on though, talking about a team that's got a lot of fight, man. A lot of fight. I'll give these boys some respect. Listen, dude, I'm still not a fan of them for other reasons outside of the football pitch. The Guatemalans, obviously, I'm a little bit more. It's more towards their fan base, not really towards the team. But in regards, speaking about the team though, team did not look the worst. I'll give it to these guys. They don't have any guys, and I literally have been looking at my note sheet now. They don't have big name players, playing in France or in England or in Spain or even really in CONMEBOL. They don't have any guys playing like that. Their best player is Aaron Herrera.
Not even in CONCACAF.
Not even in CONCACAF. They got two dudes in the MLS and a guy over in Romania, and then Kimi Ordonez, who plays in Moldova, out of all places. So this is a team that doesn't really have the names, but boy, oh boy, I will give it to these guys, man. There's just something about them when they play in the United States in a Gold Cup. They get up for these freaking games, man. They get going, they get livid, they get hot, and they get ready. So, all props to Guatemalans. Got out of the group. Listen, they did the job that they needed to do. Dude, listen, I don't know if there's an assist trophy of the tournament or whatever, but that freaking little back heel from Darwin Lowe, man. Whoa. That was something else, man. That was Cartinajes, little kickball style on him, dude. But I think honestly, nice little shot. Or Oscar Santos was a big name coming in. He picked up the hat trick before, got a goal against Jamaica in that first game. Obviously against us, we shut them down, per usual. But yeah, I think Guatemala did their job. Now they're obviously, like most other teams in the region, kind of looking more towards the World Cup qualifiers and whatnot. So we'll see where they go from there. Now, I do want to speak real quick, though. My boys, Panama, dude, great. I don't think it could have been any better. Group stage, I think they played well. I think we contributed strong. I think a lot of the pieces gelled together. 2 big points while I'm pulling up my notepad right now that I'm looking at this, dude, that I have for Panama. I don't know if there's necessarily a player of the tournament. Well, I know there is at the end of it, but if there's a group stage player of the tournament, it's Amir Murillo, man. This guy, I used to always say he's the best right back in CONCACAF. He might be the best player in CONCACAF, dude. Listen, if he had Erling Haaland at the striker position, Amir Murillo has 13 assists right now. He has 14. This guy is an absolute monster. What he can do, not just with us, but individually, his play off the ball, on the ball, his speed, his physicality, his height, he's everything. He's everything for this national team. I think Amir Murillo, standout. Tomas Rodriguez, obviously Anibal Godoy was putting in great shifts. Fidel Escobar, man, your boy, dude, the Saprissa, man, absolutely finding form. Incredible games. The names could go on and on and on. That's a video for another day. But Panama, listen, we did our job. We picked up the 9. We're ready. But like I was talking about some of these other CONCACAF giants, and we're in that same boat. Eyes towards the prize. We're trying to win this trophy. It's great. Quarterfinals, we're happy. We respect our teams, but we're going to keep moving forward, and we're going to keep going. Speaking about moving forward, Guadalupe.
I just want to say real quick on that Panama point before you get off.
Yeah.
I think you guys did a good job doing what you were supposed to do. I'm still, while you guys did beat Guatemala and you did beat them handily, it was 1-0.
Hate watch.
And I'm curious to see I'm curious to see what you guys do against tougher opposition as we get down into the tournament. That's where I'm starting to get really interested in, because clearly Jamaica was fraudulent. Guatemala, they did the best they could. But obviously they just don't match up to the talent of you guys.
Hmm.
And then Guadeloupe is Guadeloupe. They're good for who they are. And then you guys face off in Honduras, which I expect you guys to beat them pretty handily. I'm really curious to see how you guys shape up once you get into that semifinal round because I mean, look, that's how the cards drew. It is what it is.
Hmm.
You guys got a nice little path for the most part. I'm really curious to see how you guys shape up because you guys were racking in goals against the weaker opposition.
Hey,
But then when Guatemala came around, it
good.
felt like you couldn't put. I felt like you should have put more away. And Thomas Rodriguez has done a great job.
Hmm.
So I'll give him a shout out.
Hmm.
But I'm curious to see if you can score more than one because the toughest team that you had in the group was just 1-0 against Guatemala, which it should have been more. So I'm curious to see what happens when because I predict,
Hey,
foreshadowing. I predict you guys to beat Honduras.
listen, the big thing, and like you said, dude, all of CONCACAF has said this, Julian. When Panama gets a striker, this team is going to be absolutely threatening. I'm not going to jinx it. I don't want to, obviously, it's another topic for another day. We can dive into it. But have we truly found, me personally, as a supporter, as a canalero, I have to say, I'm on the boat. I'm always on the boat. I'm always on the boat with these guys. I'm going to ride with them, ride or die, regardless. Tomas Rodriguez, I think there's still a little bit more we can get, but I think we have found a solid 9. Also, in regards, he's got to make a move this summer. He's got to get out of Monagas, dude. Get out of Venezuela. We got to go somewhere else bigger. And he's too good for the team. I think he's got big things ahead of him. But yeah, Guadalupe, dude. Honestly, listen, goal of the tournament. I will say that hands down. The goal that they scored against us, I think that was Ambrose or Lajine, if I'm not wrong. Banger shot. Banger shot. They got some shooters. This team's got some shooters on that team, my boy. I'm gonna keep it real with you, dude. Listen, I think it was a valiant effort. Um, El Salvador should look at Guadalupe and try to resemble that and say, hey, if we're gonna go down and we're gonna lose all our games, that's how we need to do it. That's how we need to go out. Not what we did. But yeah, shout out to Guadalupe. I think they put up a good fight. Sucks they're not a FIFA member though, so we'll never see them in qualifiers or anything. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll go for Group D. I'm going to
Hmm.
say this group sucked.
Yeah, yeah,
USA,
yeah.
it was USA pretty much probably had the smoothest ride. It felt like Haiti, my dark horse, should have done better.
Mm.
They should have beat Saudi Arabia, but they couldn't finish to save their life. Perot, I don't know what he was going on. I don't know what he was on that game. He could not get in the back of net. Saudi Arabia, God, it was just the ultimate terrorist ball, the 0-5-5, not entertaining ball.
Nope.
Trinidad and Tobago has just what a fall from grace that team has had.
Yeah.
And USA, they did what they were supposed to do, but they didn't necessarily look great either. In that Saudi Arabia game, they had a really hard time breaking down that low block.
Yeah.
And then in the Haiti game, the mistakes that they had, and
Matt
then
Freeze.
that game was a draw for. Look, I will say I don't think all that was on Matt Freeze. He's going to get the most flack for it,
Hmm.
but I do think Tim Ream has some part to blame in that what happened there due to
Oh yeah,
bad positioning.
I agree.
And I think because Matt Freese was the one who obviously did the turnover, or the interception, he's going to get the biggest blame for it. But like,
Yeah.
I think Tim Ream's getting a little bit of some saving. I can't think of the word. He's not getting as much blame as I think he should on
Hmm.
that play. But this USA team, it's so hard to evaluate because on one hand, when they actually place like competent competition in the friendlies, they get obliterated.
Yeah.
And then their group is super weak. I mean, I predicted Haiti to get out of there. I think they should have if they were just more clinical. Trinidad and Tobago is just not a very good team, and Saudi Arabia has a B squad. And quite honestly, I don't even know with an A squad if they would have beat the USA because I think the Saudi Arabia team's a little overhyped as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the most I got to say. I'm ready to knock into these predictions. So
Yeah.
why don't you give your last?
Yeah. Real quick, just bullet points, dude. USA, like you said, they don't look freely under Potchball yet, dude. I think, like you said, biggest winners coming out of this for them: Chris Richards, Malik Tillman, Jack McGlynn looks solid. Obviously, I think Patrick Aguiman had a little bit of a stock up as well within the U.S. base camp. But still, no massive jump. Nothing like you said. Nobody was really nothing that we learned from this team. Biggest losers, I still have it down on here. Matt Freeze, obviously, like you said, Tim Ream, he's got to have a lot of the blame. And Arson, dude, John Tolkien's on the bench. Why is he not playing? I know he played that last game, but why is John Tolkien not starting? I don't understand. It just doesn't really make the most sense. Like you said, we'll figure out more stuff about this U.S. team, and they're gonna have a big test coming up in their quarterfinal. Like you said, that our dark horse pick, dude, Haiti, kind of a team that I was kind of a little bit a betting man on. Just, dude, not clinical at all. Same thing kind of we talked a little bit about earlier with Curacao. If you're not clinical in these types of games, especially in our region, dude, in CONCACAF, you're not going to win these types of games. It was hard for them. I will say, though, they've got some freaking awesome names, dude. And these guys look like they live in the gym every single day, dude. Their goalkeeper, I can't remember, Johnny Placide, dude. That guy, if I ever got into a fight, I'm calling that man for backup. I mean, that's the type of guy I want to see on my side. So, the beast of a human being, dude. In regards to Saudi Arabia, like you said, absolute flat out boring ball, dude. Just nothing was there. Nothing seemed, they didn't almost even want to seem like they wanted to score. That Trinidad game, last one, kind of threw me off, dude. That was just very shaky performance by Saudi Arabia. Not convincing at all. Like you said, dude, you already know they're going to play the 10 in the back and maybe have one midfielder, and that's what they're going to try to run. So we'll see. We'll see what Hereford Dogs got cooked up for him going into this quarterfinal matchup against Mexico. And last thing, like you said, Trinidad and Tobago. Listen, I don't like to agree with Landon Donovan a lot, and I'm going to put respect on Trinidadians. You have obviously Levi Garcia, Noah Powder, Jones. You got a couple other guys, Kevin Molino, a veteran on the team. But Landon Donovan said you guys are a high school team. I don't know if you guys are beating high school teams, Trinidad. I'm going to be quite blunt with you guys. These performances were atrocious. Like, they were very bad. It got better against Saudi Arabia a little bit, but that U.S. game, I mean, I don't even think they had a shot. Not even a shot on target, let alone nothing. So
I'm gonna be straight up.
Yeah.
I know it's a little bit off topic.
Yeah.
But I feel like Landon Donovan has probably the worst, outlandish hot takes I've heard from people.
He does.
Like,
he does.
They're horrendous.
No, he does.
Horrendous.
He does. U.S. men's
It's
national
like, who
team
gives
fans,
this guy a microphone?
himself.
No one asked the podcast from Landon Donovan, bro. No one was begging for him to talk.
Yeah, he's a former player. He thinks he knows everything. Listen, dude, like you said, off topic, calling out Christian Pulisic. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Listen, that's a topic for another day, obviously. But yeah, I
a guy
agree.
who was basically a coward and ran back home.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's got some balls. But like you said, dude, to the best part, let's get to it, dude. Let's get to the beans, the rice and beans of the video, dude. Let's get to the best part of it, man. The butter of what we like to talk about. The quarterfinals, dude. Saudi Arabia, Mexico. I'm just going to go through the list real quick for everybody watching if they don't already know. Saudi Arabia versus Mexico. On the other side of that bracket as well, Panama are playing Honduras. And then on the other side, Sunday, we'll be playing Guatemala, Canada, and Costa Rica versus the United States men's national team. Julian, pick your poison, man. Which one do you want to start off with? Where do you want to
roll? Let's do Mexico, Saudi Arabia. This one, I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I don't know which game is going to be a rougher watch. This one or USA, Costa Rica. Both of these are going to be rough watch. I'm going to go with this one, though. I think this one's going to be a rough watch because this is a Mexico team that has, I mean, we saw it in the last game against Costa Rica. They've really struggled to break down a low block or a mid block. They can't really create those big chances. This one's going to be a sloppy one, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I think this goes to a 0-0 draw to a shootout.
No way.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think this Mexico team has been really uninspiring to watch. I'm going to be honest with you. I as somebody who's watched every game from this tournament, I have not been super impressed at all. And granted, I do think Costa Rica is better defensively than Saudi Arabia is, but like you said, there's only been one goal from the run of play. Yeah. Everything's been set piece FC. At most, Mexico wins this 1-0. They are the favorites. I do predict them winning because even if this does go to a shootout, I'm taking Mexico to win the shootout because from what I understand, there's no extra time in the Gold Cup. It's 90 minutes and straight depends from what I understand. So considering the experience that Mexico has in that and the veterans they have on the team, I'm curious to see what the formation is and how they're going to roll this out. I mean, are they going to start Santi? I don't know because He's one of those, I feel like every team has one of those players that plays well for club. And then when it comes to the national team, they're just non existent.
Mm,
Let's see if maybe he can turn that around this one. I don't expect much out of Mexico. I mean, Mexico, the past 3 games, and especially in the Costa Rica game, they look really hot to start, but then they can't actually put the game away early. And it
yeah.
feels like with the current path that they're going on, the current team that they have to put away these games early and quickly because it seems like when they don't, they just fall off the face of the cliff. Like
Hmm.
they just disappear because that first 25, 30 minutes against Costa Rica, they looked really dangerous. And that was where a lot of their chances came from. But then right after that 30, like that 30-minute mark, they weren't nearly as dangerous. Because pretty much up until half, Costa Rica was dominating that game. And then we got out of second half. They kind of picked back up a little bit. And then it
Yeah.
just kind of got sloppy back and forth. Um, I haven't been super impressed. They haven't been clinical, but I do have them getting out of this. I think at the end of the day, they have just more quality than Saudi Arabia. And I think they're eventually going to kind of sneak one in there. And even if they don't and it goes to pens,
Hmm.
I have them winning in that easily.
In the shootout. Yeah. Listen, dude. Oh, this pains me. Pains me to say it, dude. I got to go with you as well. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I think Mexico's going to win this in the 90 minutes. I think they have obviously the pieces. Listen, I think I agree with you, dude. Speaking of pieces, they're set piece merchants, dude. These guys are literally they've been doing it. They just have not looked solid in the open run of play. And to be fair, that was obviously a decent Costa Rica defense. But Suriname going into that game, that was kind of their weakness. We kind of thought if there was to be a more of a breakout game, even before the tournament, it kind of seemed like DR would be able to hold it back a little bit. Suriname, I mean, Dion Malone that dude is an absolute, he's a walking siren, dude. That guy is a mess. But I mean, listen, Dion Malone was able to hold his own against Mexico. Obviously, both of the goals were off set pieces, and one of them you could arguably say was a complete Suriname disaster. So I think in that same sense, I just think it's going to be another set piece goal. Dude, I think they're going to win. Maybe not a one. I could see a 1-0, a 2-0, but both goals, if it is 2-0, are going to be off of set pieces, dude. Let me hit you with a quick little fact also, Julian. When was the last time, I want to hear what you think. When was the last time Mexico did not make it past the quarterfinals? It was like at the quarterfinals or group stage, they got eliminated.
Uh, I know they have never gotten eliminated from the group stage.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
I'm going to say they've never gotten knocked out of a quarterfinals.
Okay, they're not Brazil, but I see what you're saying. 2005. They got knocked out 2005. Still though, still the show.
How many times in total? Does it say how many times in total?
I did not see that. I did not pull up that stat. I was doing my stat checking on that, and I looked up the last time it was. But 2005 was that last time. Dude, it's 2025. So it's been a little bit of time. A lot of Gold Cups in between that. It's been 20 years. So this team, they historically, dude, they don't get knocked out in this stage. Obviously, us being the prediction goats as we are, dude, we never miss on these types of things. I mean, we're always right, 100% accuracy, dude. So, like you said,
Exactly.
I got to stick with Mexico on this. Like I said, as much as it pains me to say it, I don't want to say this, but I think Mexico, they don't lose in these moments historically. So, but yeah, next quarterfinal, dude.
They don't. That's the thing. They don't.
They don't. But you picked the first poison, dude. I'm gonna go ahead and get the second one. Let's go Costa Rica, United States. I think this is a good one, dude. I think, listen, you said a point earlier, and I disagree with you. Mexico, I agree with you on the point. The Mexico-Saudi Arabia game. Saudi Arabia is going to have 11 defenders on that field, including their goalkeeper. Everyone's going to play back. I don't think Costa Rica plays like that. I don't think it honestly, I don't think it helps you guys out at all to want to sit back. Obviously, the U.S. will, but I think in this attacking ball, obviously Manfred, big shout. He's going to be out this game. Also, one of the Mora brothers, if I'm not wrong, it's not Carlos, it's Joseph Mora on the left-hand side.
Joseph Mora.
Joseph
The
Mora's,
weaker one,
yeah, exactly. The one who
that
plays.
was probably for the best, to be honest with you.
Maybe you can find out something with the new kid with Meyer, the Saprissa boy. But, obviously still, regardless, that is just 2 starters out that you guys are down. But still, I think obviously, dude, listen, I've been shouting this guy out for quite some time. And it's crazy to say quite some time because he's only 20 years old. But Josimar Alcocer, man, what a guy, dude. What a baller. Like, I really, really love the pace that he brings, the physicality. Obviously, he's not the best passer, but he's a good finisher. He's clinical in those moments. He knows how to ball. and I think he can get the job
He's good
done
on the
a lot of
one-on-one.
times for you guys. He's going to one. So, but yeah, I think Costa Rica, listen, I got literally in my notes, I'm looking at it right now. If this goes to a PK shootout, I think you guys are winning. I think because of one guy, because of Keylor Navas. I think it's a big, big ups for you guys. Obviously, that's not the goal. You guys want to finish it in the 90 minutes. The U.S. and Julian, you're gonna hate me for saying this, and I'm sorry. I don't. This is nothing personal. It's not my bias towards anybody, nothing. But dude, I just don't see it. I think, and not even that. I think I know, dude. I know this is gonna happen. Malik Tillman is just going to he's just gonna have a heyday with Juan Pablo Vargas because when you look at it, and even Orlando Gallo and Brandon Aguilera, Gallo's had a solid tournament. Aguilera's been ghost. Braun decent at moments. I know you and I have talked a little bit off the pod. Christopher Nunez is a guy you're kind of shouting out a little bit, but I just don't see any of these guys being able to stop Malik Tillman, man. Listen, obviously, it's been against weaker opposition. I will acknowledge that. Much, much weaker in some regards to the Costa Rican team, but it's still just not enough. I just don't think you guys have enough to be able to contain him and what he's going to be able to do. I think the wing play is also going to be big for you guys. Obviously, we were saying no Joseph Mora. I think that's going to be a heyday for Jack McGlynn. These are guys that are going to be able to have their moments. Obviously, we'll see how Calvo and company can do. But I'm going to be real. I see like a 2-1. I see you guys potentially, I'm going to be honest, maybe getting an early goal, maybe even somewhere before half, and then I see the U.S. kind of waking up from that and pouncing on it. So I see a 2-1, potentially. And like I said, if it goes to PKs, I'll give you guys the benefit of the doubt.
Dude, this game is, I have no idea how to predict this game. This game is such a wild card because, like we mentioned, this was a Costa Rica team that feels like they're still trying to figure each other out. Clearly what we saw in the first 3 games. It seemed like by the third game when they got to Mexico, they've kind of were able to build a little bit more of an identity. But obviously now with a Ugalde out, which is a big miss, you're going to have somebody step in there. I'm predicting it's probably going to be Kenneth Vargas, which is not a terrible sub. Obviously, if Madrigal was healthy, you'd want to see him go in there. But this game's going to be, dude, it's such a, I genuinely feel like this is a 50-50 game because I'm gonna be honest with you, Malik Tillman doesn't necessarily scare me that much. Like you said, the opposition, and we saw what they did against Saudi Arabia. It wasn't anything impressive, and this is a Saudi Arabia team that's weaker than Costa Rica. Jack McGlynn, Diego Luna, like these are guys that they're familiar with too, especially in CONCACAF Champions Cup and are players that play in MLS. I'm just not super. They don't strike fear in my heart. The one thing that I am concerned about more so from Costa Rica's perspective is more so being able to create chances and how they're going to do that, especially when your main chance creator in Manfred Ugalde is out. Now, I would like to see a shakeup with what Piojo's going to do because they've been doing the 5-3-2, and quite honestly, I just don't think it's working. I think the Mexico game was, like you said, I mean, at the end of the day, Keylor Navas did save us. While even though Mexico didn't create a lot of big chances, they did score some bangers that probably should have got put away. I would want to see a switch up, and we did see it in the end of the second half against Mexico was a 4-4-2. I think that's going to be the way to go because I think what was happening with Costa Rica is they were getting killed in transition because of the man advantage to the other team. They kind of left Orlando Gallo on an island, and he did the best that he can. And I thought he's had a great tournament so far. I thought he's been playing really well considering everything that's happening and him basically taking on 1v3s constantly. But we just need to see a little bit more chance creation. I think Brandon Aguilera, he's our Malik Tillman in the sense where he just goes for the national team, or he's our Santi Jimenez. He's the guy. He, for whatever reason, he plays well for his club. He gets mans of the matches. He looks good against like Champions League teams and like against Porto and stuff. But for whatever reason, when he throws on that Los Ticos jersey, he just goes. It's not even that he does bad. He's just non-existent.
He's not
it's
there.
Like you don't hear his name.
He's not there.
He's just not there. It's like he's trying to save face almost, like, which to me is just as bad as seeing somebody get burned or seeing somebody get killed for making a bad mistake. It's like you were just a non-contributor, and it wasn't like you were quiet because you didn't make anything. Like, you know, some like you always talk about like guys like Sergio Busquets, where it's like you never call his name, but that's a good thing. You never called Brandon Aguilera's name, but that's a bad thing considering the position that he plays as the number 10, the main chance creator. Piojo loves him. I don't know. I feel like he's going to make it. It's such a wild card. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect from this
Mm.
USA team. Like what their rotation is going to look like. I feel like they're going to kind of do what they did against Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, who's going to start in the net for USA? I'm assuming they're probably
Yeah.
going to roll with Matt Free still. And but then on the Costa Rica side, like how are they? Because obviously with Ugalde out and then Mora out, there's not really a like for like replacement at the left back position. So like, are they going to shift Calvo to left back, then put JPV another defender, and then Mitchell at the right back, and just kind of play like a four center backs, and then kind of let the midfielders push up? To me, I think that's probably the best route to go. The thing is, I just don't know what Piojo's going to do. But I will say, I do think as the tournament's got on, we've gotten better defensively. And like you said, I don't think we're necessarily going to play super defensive like Saudi Arabia is. We're definitely going to go after it more because I do think while we respect the USA, this is a team that we can score on. We have the attacking talent to do so. Like, if we were full strength, I would feel a lot better about this. At the end of the day, I think this game is really 50-50, and I'm going to have to go to the USA side just because of that history. For
Hmm.
whatever reason, we just cannot get over that USA hump in Gold Cups. It's rough, but yeah. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
I think these ones are going to be relatively quick. I'm going to go Canada
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
Guatemala. Look, man, it was a great run for Guatemala. I think they played really well. But at the end of the day, this Canada team,
Yeah.
I think this Canada team can just struggle against physical and fast teams like we saw against Curacao. But in terms of this, Guatemala is not necessarily that. Guatemala seems to be a team where they dominate, where they have possession of the ball, but when they're good enough to maintain the possession of the ball, but teams like against Canada, they can't. They're not. They don't have the quality to maintain possession. So therefore, they have to play counter ball, and they're just not good enough or fast enough to do that. So I have Canada coming out of this.
Yeah, listen, dude, Guatemala, Nicolas Samayoa is an average height of 5'8", and Juan Carlos Pinto is 5'9". Promise David is 6'3". I think that matchup is going to be incredible. I think, excuse me, not incredible. Maybe not incredible for the Guatemalans, but I think that, listen, Promise David towers over these guys. So I think that'll be very, very intriguing to see how Guatemala kind of goes with it. Like you said, dude, listen, good run for the Chapines, but I think it's going to come to an end here, man. I just don't think I see enough power. Listen, their fans can cheer, scream, yell, throw trash at Jonathan David, Tejan, or whatever if they score a goal, But dude, listen, at the end of the day, I just don't think it's enough for them to be able to move on. Canada, like we were talking about earlier, I think they have their eyes set. Don't sleep on Guatemala, though. Don't sleep. I literally have that on my notes. Canada, do not sleep on these guys because if you do, Oscar Santis will pull something out of a freaking backpack and he's going to score some insane goal. And you're going to be looking at a 1-0 result. Guatemala's going to park the bus. Fans are going to go crazy. It's going to be an ultra CONCACAF game after that. And you don't know what's going to happen, dude. So if I'm Canada, if you're Canadian, do not sleep on these guys. You need to go full throttle, full team. I know you had talked about it earlier, Joel. No, this is no time for rotation. This is knockout football now, boys. This is where this is where you find out the boys turn into guys. Men are going to be produced on this field. So if you're Canadian, no overlooking, no overestimating these teams. You know what I mean? You need to go full send right now. So yeah, no rotation and whatnot in that aspect. Real quick though, I want to break it down, dude. You already know. I got to talk about my boys, man. Los Canaleros, dude. Canal men. And then obviously I'll get to you, Julian, and we'll wrap it up. But dude, I think we're coming in full steam. Listen, I'll give Guatemala, or excuse me, not Guatemala. I'll give Los Catrachos, Lache, I'll give them their merit. They won their last 2 games. Obviously, so be it. Not against two amazing oppositions, one of them obviously being El Salvador. So not amazing at all. But this is still a team that, listen, one guy I will shout out on their team. Listen, he's the old head of the team. He's done it in the past. He's been to a World Cup. It's Romel Kyoto. The guy, he still has it, man. And I won't say he strikes fear into my eyes and it's this scary, dangerous player, but he's a guy that we need to lock up. He's a guy, and I will say it quite undifferent than Jamaica and Guatemala or even Guadalupe. Romel Kyoto can really, really he can aggravate a defender. I've seen it before. I've seen it against us. 2021, he scored 2 goals. He got the double against us in that last Gold Cup edition in 2021 in Houston. So I think this is kind of similar, like I was talking about Canada. Do not sleep. I know a lot of Panamanians, especially our very famous own Chepe Bomba has already been saying los hijos, nuestros hijos. These are not our kids. We need to get in there and we need to take care of business. It's simple as that. We're the better team on paper. We're the better team in debt. We're the better team with experience. We know these types of environments, and we're not this is not unfamiliar territory to us. We've already been to 3 finals in the past 20 editions, or excuse me, past 20 years of Gold Cups. Obviously, the last Gold Cup, we made the final. Last CONCACAF Nations League, we made a final. The goal was not just to get to a quarterfinal and barely win. No, we need to go in there, obviously respect our opponent, but at the end of the day, we need to take care of business. I got it here on the spreadsheet as well. We need a big game, dude, from these 3 guys. I'm going to really, really say it. These are names that some of these guys they've been performing well throughout the tournament, but they need to have a very, very big shift. Anibal Godoy, Pumita Luis Rodriguez, and the man that we talked about earlier, Tomasito Rodriguez. Dude, obviously Puma Rodriguez, self-explanatory. He needs to cause chaos. He needs to get crazy. He needs to get into that box. He needs to, honestly, I will say this Honduran defense still does not look like a threat. This is a team that we need to take advantage of and score early. We need to score quick. We need to score fast. And we obviously need Tomas Rodriguez to be that man to get it going for us. Obviously he was able to do the job against Guatemala, Eduardo Guerrero and Victor Griffith and other guys and Carlos Harvey on the field just weren't exactly able to produce. Tomas was. So, obviously I want to see him from this game again, be able to get out there and produce. And the last name, like I said, dude, we need a little bit of leadership on this field. Like I was talking about experience. This is huge. This is huge because I will give it to Honduras. They are the oldest team into this Gold Cup, oldest roster. So they may not have experience in quarterfinals and semifinals as of late, but they have guys, on this bench and on this team that have seen these types of moments. Obviously, Romo Kyoto kind of being the lead guy for him. So this is not a sleeper team at all, by no means. Catrachos will probably be deep into the stadium as well. They're probably going to be the home team. I don't know how full of a home throttle they're going to have, but we'll see. But like I said, Anibal Godoy, I need a big shift from you, man. I need a very, very big shift, whether it's 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 80 minutes, or it's the full 90. You got to come out there, push, make it aggravating on this midfield, dude. Guatemala had no chances. It was absolutely dominant. We need that same type of performance from our midfield to continue. Absolutely steamroll the midfield so we can get up top and we can create chances. And we can go from there. But yeah, prediction. I'm gonna go, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be cool with that. I'm not gonna be arrogant. I'm not gonna be duro al hueso. I'm not gonna be these guys. I'm gonna be respectful. Give me a 2-0. I think goals by Tomas Rodriguez, and I'm gonna get a set piece goal off of a corner kick. Beautiful set piece corner kick by Puma Rodriguez gets the assist. I'm gonna say Coto Cordoba gets a goal, or Fidel Escobar, one of our center backs. They're gonna be able to put that ball in the back of the net. But yeah, that's what I see, dude. And those boys, we're going to be ready for Saturday. So what about you, Julian? Final thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think Honduras defensively really scares me from that aspect. And I think because of that, you guys are going to be able to at least get more than one goal. I think you guys should handle Honduras. They're going to let you have the ball. I just think at the end of the day, you just have a little bit more quality and more cohesion too. It feels like, I mean, you guys have been running pretty much a lot of the same players and the coach obviously for years now. And Honduras is still, it feels like they're still trying to figure shit out for the most part. And yeah, I mean, I have Panama going 2-0 here. I think at the end of the day, they're just a better quality team. Honduras, I honestly wasn't super impressed with. Like, I give credit where credit's due. They did improve from that very bad performance against Canada, but they did improve against of extremely bad, probably the worst performing team in the Gold Cup, an El Salvador team, and then a Curacao team. While that can be dangerous, at the end of the day, they're not like a real powerhouse in CONCACAF. So I still have Panama going. I say we just recap all the winnings. I'm going Mexico beat Saudi Arabia 1-0. I have United States beating Costa Rica 1-1, and we lose. I'll go 2-1 and lose right at the end. I feel like there's going to be a late goal or it goes to shootout. It goes to shootout, we're winning 100%, and I feel like it's going to go to shootout. But I just have this weird feeling we're going to give up something late right before half, and it's going to go 2-1. As for Canada, Guatemala, I'm going to do 2-0. I think Guatemala's going to hold their own. I don't think they're going to get embarrassed. I think they're going to have look good at times, but I think stylistically, they just tactically, they just do not match up well against Canada. And then Panama, Honduras, I'm going 2-0.
Okay, I like that. I like that. I agree with all the teams you said. Well, obviously different results. Mexico, I sadly still have to say it, 1-0. I think they're going to get an early goal, and I think they're going to play a Saudi Arabia card on Saudi Arabia, kind of park back a little bit and whatnot. I agree with the U.S. dude. I think U.S. I got 2-1. I do see, like I said, kind of earlier on the prediction. I think you guys are going to score first. U.S. is going to kind of come back from that. In regards Canada, Guatemala, I agree. Guatemala, the scoreline's not exactly going to reflect. This is my prediction. I got a 3-0, but I don't think it's going to be a full out, throttle first 30 minutes. Guatemala looks lost. Canadians are flying all over the field, and Tana has no clue what to do on the pitch. I think it's going to be a hard fight. I think one or two of those goals might be a penalty, so they're going to be quite unfortunate in that aspect, but I still think Canada can get the job done. And like I said, with Panama, I have a 2-0. I think we're going to be able to put a goal in the first half, hopefully in the second half, be able to wrap it up and keep it going. So
Awesome. Well, that is our quarterfinal predictions as well as our group recap from the group stage. And yeah, if you guys like the content, please feel free to like and subscribe down below and call us idiots. Say we're smart. Say we have no ball knowledge. Say we do have ball knowledge. Let us know in the comments down below. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Oh,
peace.
by the way, be on the lookout for some live stream. We might do some live streams for post game, not watch along, but post game live streams. You'll see that if you subscribe, hit the notification bell, you get those notifications. But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.